Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the One Water Perspective Summer Webinar Series. We're continuing discussions with thought leaders, regional managers, policymakers, and practitioners from across the country. Today, we're connecting with Paula Kehoe, Director of Water Resources at the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. With summer in full swing and Independence Day approaching, we are working out the details for our next round of presentations, and I'll be sure to send out more information once the schedule is finalized later in July. As always, we record each webinar and post them to our YouTube channel. A link will be disseminated as soon as it's available. And as a reminder, all participants have entered this webinar muted, so please enter your questions in the chat queue, and barring any technical difficulties, I'll try to turn on your mic at the end of the presentation so that we can have a fruitful discussion with Paula. And with that, I am excited to introduce our presenter for today. Paula Kehoe is the Director of Water Resources with the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. She is responsible for diversifying San Francisco's local water supply portfolio through the implementation of conservation, groundwater, and recycled water programs. Paula spearheaded San Francisco's landmark legislation allowing for reuse of alternate water sources in buildings. We're excited to learn more about the transformative efforts currently underway in California. And with that, I'll turn the driver's seat over to Paula. Thanks for tuning in today, everybody.
Great. Thank you for that fantastic introduction. And I really appreciate the opportunity today to share the work that we're doing in San Francisco. The San Francisco Public Utilities Commission is a municipal public agency providing three utility services: water, sewer, and power. Our water utility serves approximately 2.7 million people in the San Francisco Bay Area. Our sewer utility operates a combined sewer system treating both stormwater and wastewater, and our power utility generates both hydroelectric and solar power. San Francisco's regional water system is truly an engineering marvel. The system was built in the early 1900s, and the water is conveyed all by gravity across California more than 160 miles. And as that water travels through the system, it produces hydroelectric power. The majority of our water supplies come from the Tuolumne River, which is on the right side of the screen, and it's stored in the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir located in Yosemite National Park. We also manage 5 reservoirs that are located closer to San Francisco in the Bay Area, and we capture rainfall, and that water supplements our mountain water supplies. As you can see on the map, those 3 red lines, those are actually earthquake faults. So our regional water system is the 3rd largest in California, but it also happens to cross 3 major earthquake faults. On average, we deliver 177 million gallons of water each day. That is to both San Francisco as well as our 27 wholesale customers. Just in terms of divvying that water up, San Francisco uses about 62 million gallons a day, and our wholesale customers use the remaining. And you can see on the map that the area in the darker mustard yellow color represents where our wholesale customers are, and San Francisco is at the tip of that map. Delivering high quality water 24 hours a day, every day, is our top priority. However, our water system faces a number of risks, including earthquakes, as I mentioned, and aging infrastructure, which can disrupt our water deliveries. Drought, of course, we just recently came out of our drought here in California, and that reduces the amount of water that's available to us to serve our customers. Climate change, which also affects the amount of water from snowfall and can impact our infrastructure during extreme weather events. We also have a significant population and employment growth, especially here in San Francisco, which can increase the overall demand for water. And finally, we have pending environmental regulations requiring us to potentially leave more water in the rivers, and as a consequence, less water for drinking purposes. San Francisco PUC, however, has long recognized the need to plan and implement programs to secure a reliable future water supply. As a result, we are upgrading our infrastructure, we're promoting demand management, we're developing new local water supplies, we're managing our water system for multi-year droughts, and we're shifting to a one water management approach. Over the past several years, we've been implementing the Water System Improvement Program, which is designed to repair, replace, and seismically upgrade our water system. This $4.8 billion capital improvement program is approximately 90% complete and is one of the largest water infrastructure programs in the nation. The San Francisco PUC's water system is susceptible to droughts. The drought of 1987 to 1992 really served as our wake-up call that we could no longer do business as usual. So as a result, we include an 8.5-year drought sequence within all of our water supply planning. The drought sequence is based on the historical drought of 1987 to 1992, but we also include 1976 to 77, which was a very severe drought here in California. Currently, we are working on a vulnerability assessment and adaptation strategy for the next 50 years. This work will involve developing a high-level strategy and framework for long-term planning and operation of our system. The strategy will result in an adaptive plan with short-term actions and a long-term vision for each action to adapt that is, 1, responsive to uncertain changing conditions, and 2, guides the allocation of our resources to improve the robustness of our system to meet our level of service goals. The historical development pathway for water delivery has taken a linear approach with basically water in and water out. And I think we would all agree that this current paradigm is becoming more obsolete with the pressures of population growth, climate change, and aging infrastructure. Building water security for the future will require us to rethink our old ways. Water systems of the 21st century will need to be flexible, resilient, and reliable. New approaches such as OneWater are evolving that are inherently about more efficient use of our resources. It's no longer the conventional water management framework where drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater are managed separately. And around the globe, water industry leaders are beginning to see these challenges as actually opportunities that we can reshape water management and move towards an approach that sees all water as one water. Transitioning to this new vision requires a shift, one that reimagines our infrastructure and one that requires collaborating and working across disciplines, adapting our governance, engaging the community, and encouraging citizen involvement. At the San Francisco PUC, we recognize that we have the opportunity to manage our finite resources for greater resiliency and reliability. Although we've been implementing projects and programs that embody a one water approach for many years, in the spring of 2016, our general manager, Harlan Kelly, asked staff to build on that momentum of our successful initiatives by formalizing a one water thought process, which became OneWaterSF, that could be shared across our organization. As a result, we've cultivated a shift from thinking about one project at a time to thinking more holistically about project impacts and potential synergies between our water, wastewater, and power operations. The focus of our early implementation of OneWaterSF was to establish a vision. And the vision is, with our OneWaterSF approach, San Francisco will optimize the use of our finite water and energy resources to balance community and ecosystems needs, creating a more resilient and reliable future. We also created a number of guiding principles to break down silos and to really fuel the collaboration both within the San Francisco PUC and externally through partnerships with industry, academia, and the community. We have 8 guiding principles, and I'll share with you those principles. The first is to match the right resource to the right use, look holistically at our water, wastewater, and power systems to develop programs, policies, and projects that provide multiple benefits. Also to plan for variable outcomes and to build in flexibility to adapt to future changes. Develop projects and programs that conserve resources and promote ecosystem health including the health and quality of our watersheds, the San Francisco Bay, and the Pacific Ocean. We also want to work across traditional boundaries within our organization to foster collaboration that results in the efficient use of water, wastewater, energy, and financial resources. We want to engage our communities to foster awareness and collaboration around OneWaterSF. We also want to pursue partnerships with other agencies, the private sector, and other stakeholders to generate new and creative ideas. And finally, pilot state-of-the-art technologies and test new approaches to develop new business practices. OneWaterSF for us is intended to be dynamic and flexible, so the process of initiating its implementation has been deliberately organic and iterative. Starting with a diverse internal working group representing each of the San Francisco PUC's resource areas, OneWaterSF is being built from the ground up. With the shift, we've also expanded our thinking about how our water and wastewater systems consume energy and their potential to create energy. We can look at our wastewater as a resource for non-potable and even potable water supply and what the impacts of keeping more water out of the sewer system will be. In the end, we believe this approach will better position us to optimize the use of our resources and create a more reliable and resilient future for San Francisco. OneWaterSF encourages us also to look at our water and wastewater systems and infrastructure more holistically. Some specific examples include using green infrastructure to manage drainage and reuse stormwater for irrigation or other uses. Our non-potable water program, which integrates decentralized and centralized water systems. We're also harnessing opportunities for clean power generation within our water and wastewater systems, including co-locating solar installations on our facilities or capturing and utilizing energy byproducts of our wastewater operations to fuel plant operations. We have over 30 OneWaterSF initiatives highlighting the OneWaterSF guiding principles that I just shared with you. Today, I plan to focus my remarks on our OneWaterSF initiatives that highlight water. Conservation in California is a way of life. In San Francisco in particular, our residential per capita is approximately 43 gallons per person per day. And this is about half of the statewide average in California. The sufficient rate of water use did not just happen overnight. We've been promoting conservation for over 25 years through mandates and financial incentives. Just to provide an example of the benefits, from 2005 to 2015, our residential per capita went down by 27% despite a 10% growth in population. And as part of our conservation program, we provide water-efficient devices, incentives, and other tools to help homes and businesses save water. During the last year alone, we've distributed over 19,000 water-efficient devices, provided over 6,500 rebates, and conducted over 3,000 water-wise evaluations. These efforts will result in a lifetime water savings of over 1 billion gallons of water. By encouraging water conservation, the PUC does not only reduce the amount of water we use, but it actually creates a water supply. The utility views wastewater as a resource. Today, for us, our best investment for building and utilizing centralized recycled water facilities is to irrigate large parks and golf courses in San Francisco. We've created regional partnerships to deliver recycled water for irrigation of our Harding Park and Fleming Park golf courses, as well as the east side of Sharp Park golf course. And currently, we're building a west side enhanced water recycling facility, which includes the construction of a new recycled water treatment facility, 8 miles of new pipelines to irrigate over 1,000 acres of Golden Gate Park, Lincoln Park Golf Course, and the Presidio Golf Course. We're also focusing on maximizing our recycled water for street cleaning and sewer flushing. Each of these projects provide a range of benefits by reusing effluent that would otherwise be discharged to the San Francisco Bay or the Pacific Ocean. We are protecting our receiving waters. We're also replacing potable water with recycled water for irrigation and saving our precious drinking water while diversifying our water supplies. Groundwater, also known as well water, is a renewable source of naturally filtered water deep beneath the ground surface. In San Francisco, we sit over a large groundwater basin called the West Side Groundwater Basin, and existing wells from this basin have been extracting groundwater for irrigating Golden Gate Park for decades. However, with extensive water quality data from the groundwater basin, we recognize the value of this high-quality water source and are now using it as a drinking water supply. We are pumping groundwater and we're blending it with our surface water supplies to serve our retail customers here in the city. And as I previously mentioned, we're developing recycled water for the irrigation to replace the groundwater, which ultimately enables us to match the water supply and the right water for the right use. A second groundwater project that we also have underway is a regional groundwater storage and recovery project, which will enhance our reliability during drought periods by providing additional storage of groundwater to San Francisco and our neighboring communities when we need it the most. This in-lieu recharge project involves providing additional surface water to 3 of our wholesale customers. As a result, they ease up on their groundwater pumping, allowing the aquifer to naturally recharge. Disconnecting downspouts diverts rainwater away from San Francisco's combined sewer system, reducing the volume of stormwater within our combined sewer system during rain events. This resource can obviously be easily reused before entering the sewer system to help with landscape irrigation. To help educate the public on the benefits of the rainwater collection, we've created a number of manuals and resources on to how to redirect rainwater for landscape irrigation or rain barrel collection. This program has allowed us to further engage with our communities and explain the benefits of a downspout disconnection and stormwater reuse program. Buildings also are a source of water, and they can produce a number of different types of alternate water sources, including rainwater, stormwater, foundation drainage, gray water, and black water. And treating and reusing water on site for non-potable applications can actually reduce the potable water demands by up to 75%. So when it came to building our new headquarters, we wanted it to be a reflection of using the right resource for the right use. We installed 2 on-site water treatment systems. One captures rainwater from the roof and stormwater from the back of the building, and we treat that water and we reuse it for irrigation. The second system captures and treats all of the black water we produce in the building, and we installed a living machine, which is shown here on the photos on the right. It's a series of engineered wetland treatment cells. Looks like large planter boxes outside of our building. However, it is a wastewater treatment facility treating that water, and ultimately we disinfect that water and we reuse that water to flush our toilets and our urinals in our own building. As a result, we've been able to reduce our potable water consumption by 60%. So aware of the possibilities of on-site water reuse and treating water on-site for non-potable applications, we wanted to encourage more widespread practice in San Francisco. So to do so, we needed to address one of the most significant barriers, governance. And in September 2012, the City and County of San Francisco adopted the Non-Potable Water Ordinance and created a streamlined permitting process for developers to allow them to install their own on-site water treatment system to provide water for toilet flushing, irrigation, and other kinds of uses, non-potable uses. This ordinance required us to work closely with 4 city departments, our San Francisco Department of Public Health, San Francisco Department of Building Inspection and Public Works, along with the PUC. And we've created several resources for single building and commercial building owners on what the ordinance means and how to comply. Due to the early success of this program, it was established as a voluntary program, and however, during the drought, it now it's become a mandatory requirement So all new developments over 250,000 square feet in San Francisco are required to install their own on-site water treatment system to provide for their toilet flushing and irrigation demands. To date, the non-potable water program has several projects in various stages of design, permitting, and construction and operation. All of these decentralized treatment systems are integrated with our centralized water and sewer system, and ultimately they're transforming the way that we live and work in San Francisco. On-site non-potable water systems for us provide us a number of benefits, including reducing the use of potable water for toilet flushing and irrigation. It also helps meet our stormwater management ordinance requirements and ultimately achieves a greater water supply reliability and resiliency in San Francisco. And in 2014, we created a national forum for public health agencies and water and wastewater utilities to advance best management practices to support the installation of on-site non-potable water systems. We focus on water quality standards that are protective of public health, oversight and management, and increasing the understanding and acceptance of decentralized non-potable water systems within the water and wastewater utility sectors. With growing scarcity of water in wet years interspersed with extended periods of drought, many water providers around California and throughout the United States are looking to purified water as a source of supply. Treated with appropriate technology, wastewater can be used for non-potable or potable purposes. Regulations for potable reuse are still being developed in California, but in the meantime, there continues to be a need for more data on different types of applications. And San Francisco is helping to advance the statewide dialogue with our OneWaterSF project. It's a 9-month pilot program that takes treated water from our living machine and further treats it to meet drinking water standards. The pilot uses ultrafiltration, reverse osmosis, and advanced oxidation with ultraviolet light. After data collection, the water will be returned to the building for toilet flushing, so we won't be drinking the water, but we will be collecting data in terms of how consistently and reliably the technology works. We plan to gather in-depth water quality data and, most importantly, engage our communities on the discussion and concept of potable reuse. Our OneWaterSF is supported by grants from the Water Research Foundation and the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. We're also expanding our program, our non-potable water program, to address brewery process water for on-site treatment and reuse. And later this year, we are planning to explore rainwater for potable purposes here in San Francisco. As we continue implementation of our OneWaterSF, we want to ensure that the OneWaterSF vision and guiding principles reach all of our employees within our organization. And the primary goal of this particular initiative is to raise the awareness of OneWaterSF concepts throughout our utility to help staff identify how their work is contributing to the success of OneWaterSF. And this initiative, again, is important because we want to maintain consistency and showcasing the project's success for the entire agency. We also, in terms of OneWaterSF as a whole, we publish reports in terms of our progress on our initiatives and as well as identifying our future work ahead. We continue to make presentations just like this and others internally and externally to share our vision, our OneWaterSF vision, and the work that we're doing in order to use our resources more efficiently. We've developed metrics for our individual projects, and this fall we plan to develop metrics for our overall OneWaterSF initiative. OneWaterSF here at the utility really has generated a shift in how we do business at the PUC. With this shift, we've institutionalized a culture that finds value in working across traditional boundaries, really to embrace creative ideas and to develop projects and programs that converge multiple resources. As we look to the future, we know that many challenges related to resource management lies ahead. We're continually reminding that drought is an ongoing threat to our water supply. Past assumptions used for resource planning may not always fit in today's circumstances, and that the regulatory landscape continues to evolve, and climate uncertainties test our system. However, we are continually inspired by our new opportunities for utilizing and managing our finite water and energy resources, conservation, local water supply capture and use, water purification, all provide opportunities for us to meet our future challenges. And these challenges and opportunities are not uncovered and implemented these opportunities are uncovered and implemented through the kind of creative and collaborative thinking that is fostered through OneWaterSF. We've also learned that this thinking can originate from many different places: water managers, academia, private sector, and the community, and that they provide a great perspective and important perspective to expand our traditional thinking. Our ongoing partnerships and collaborative will be critical to our continued progress and future success. And finally, our work is ongoing. We will continue to make necessary investments in our infrastructure. We will continue to diversify our water supply portfolio. Importantly, developing new utility models and to deploy innovative technologies, fostering collaborations and regional partnerships, and in maintaining meaningful public engagement. So I'd like to conclude with sharing our website, sfwater.org. Has all of the information I've talked about in terms of our OneWaterSF and our other initiatives that we have ongoing here at the utility. So I'll take a pause and happy to answer any questions or comments. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Paula. Guys, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat queue. So we might just give it a second here. Sometimes it takes a few minutes for everything to cross the internet. Really just a fantastic example y'all are setting there on the West Coast. Very inspirational, and hope that this message is well received across the country. Okay, a couple questions. So first question, have you evaluated potential impacts of the various San Francisco OneWater programs on reduced energy usage and cost and the carbon footprint?
So we do have, we are looking at certainly our OneWater initiatives and our energy. We've been dealing with biogas and looking at how we can use the heat within our wastewater treatment plants to actually utilize that energy on site within our wastewater plants.
Okay, great. And then we have another question. The microphone's not working for this man, so I'm going to ask for him. He says, you mentioned per capita use has declined while population has been increasing. How much has total water use changed over time? If water use has been declining, when do you think it will start to increase again?
That's a great question. So certainly, as I mentioned, historically, our per capita has decreased. Our overall water demand has decreased despite increase in population and employment. However, in 2020, we recently, in 2015, we recently redid all of our demand, population, and employment projections in San Francisco. As I mentioned, we are building rapidly here in the city. And as we project and look out into the future, we actually see an overall increase in water demand in San Francisco. Our per capita, we estimate to remain as efficient as it is today out to 2040, but the overall water demand we see as potentially increasing. And that's the result of our system, what we call demand hardening. We've done such a great job in terms of conservation that the actual potential of conservation is dwindling, whereas the increase in population and employment is increasing. So the good news is our water per capita use is expected to remain the same at 43 gallons, roughly 43 gallons per person per day, but the overall water demand, we project an increase in overall demand, which is why it's very important, obviously, to continue our conservation program as well as looking at diversifying our water supply portfolio and developing new local water supplies.
Great, thank you. I'm going to see if we can get Adam's mic on. Hey, Adam, you want to give your computer a try?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can. Go for it.
Oh, great. Yeah, so I was just wondering what the quality of the groundwater SFPUC is using to supplement consumption. How high quality is that water given your industrial and residential history? And also, I was just curious if that groundwater quality data is available to the public.
Yeah, so we actually, we post all of our groundwater data. We've been involved in we have an extensive groundwater monitoring network. We have over 100 groundwater monitoring wells. We've been collecting data for over 15 years in terms of water quality and quantity, and those reports are available online. With our new groundwater project, it's actually the West Side Groundwater Basin, happens to be on the west side of San Francisco. The water quality is very similar in nature to our Bay Area reservoirs in terms of the quality. We've done extensive blending studies and analysis in terms of blending all of these supplies because our most important criteria is maintaining delivery of safe drinking water to be below the MCLs. And with our groundwater project, the San Francisco Groundwater Project, we post data twice a month, and you can go online at sfwater.org/local groundwater, and you can actually see twice a month, the amount of groundwater that's in our system and all of the water quality data that's for that period of time. And that, again, is updated twice a month.
Great, thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to see if we can get Basil on, although he may have had to sneak out. Oh, there he is. All right. Hey, Basil, you want to ask your question directly?
Sure. I was wondering how economical it would be to use potable water at distributed sites, like you mentioned that you were doing that on an experimental basis. I was wondering how realistic it would be to have it on a wider basis and these distributed treatment systems that would be necessary with the economically feasible.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that question. Could someone repeat that, please? I couldn't hear it at all.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Okay. You're a little bit fuzzy, so I'll just read what you typed in, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay. So Basil's wondering, when using rainwater for potable water, how economical would it be to install distributed water treatment systems at various sites?
So we have not gotten deeply into rainwater for potable purposes. As I mentioned, that's something that we're going to start working on this year. So we have not done any of the analysis that you're referring to. In California, though, under the California Plumbing Code, you are allowed to capture rainwater for potable purposes, which is why that's an area that we would like to look into and expand our local water program. We just haven't gotten to that kind of detail, but that's certainly a great question that we should consider in our upcoming research.
Okay. Does San Francisco have a demand reduction goal? For example, 50% reduces water demand. Have any other OneWater goals been established to measure the success of the program?
With our capital improvement program, the water system improvement program that we adopted in 2008, we did establish a goal that we would develop 10 million gallons a day of local water supplies, and that 10 million gallons a day what includes up to 4 million gallons a day of conservation, up to 4 million gallons a day of recycled water, and 2 million gallons a day of groundwater. So that was our goal that was set in 2008. and that was set by 2018, which is the year we're in now. So we are getting very close to meeting that 10 million gallons a day. We're not there just yet, so we anticipate that we will meet that goal over the next several years. Again, as I mentioned, the conservation, we start to see a peak in our ability to conserve water, and then again around 2020, the ability to conserve as much water as we have historically starts to decline slightly because of all the new development that's coming in San Francisco, obviously is installing efficient fixtures. So that's where we are in terms of our overall goal. We also have a level of service goal that we plan to keep our residential per capita below 50 gallons per person per day. As I mentioned today, we're at 43 gallons per person per day, but those are our goals and metrics that we've set to date.
Great, thank you. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions trickle in, so I sure appreciate your time today, Paula, and everyone else for tuning in. I'll get this loaded onto YouTube and send out a link once it's ready. I hope everyone has a good afternoon, and we'll be in touch with details in the coming weeks for our next round of presentations. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today.